Now that you've been practicing with your perspective, you can start to think about how to add value into your drawings. Using perspective and the lines going to the vanishing points are going to start to show depth on the page, and adding in some shading is going to bring out that realistic look. So let's say we're looking at a block like this. This is a block of wood. It's a, you know, it's a pretty big block here, but it serves the purpose pretty well for us, I think, because we can see the light on it, right? So if I turn it in different ways in the light, you can see that the different sides of the block of the wood look darker or lighter. So if I look at this form right here and I pretend this block of wood is this form, I'm going to hold it as best I can about the way that I see that. Let's see, it's kind of like this. Okay, and you can see that each side is a different value, right? So if our light is coming from this direction, this is obviously the very lightest, brightest, right? If I, let's turn it this way a little bit. If I look at the face of it, it's a little darker but still pretty light, and underneath is the darkest. So you can see how the light changes as we look at things, right? Now this is 1-point perspective, so you really would be seeing the very face of it like this. So underneath is the darkest, this is the brightest, and then that's the middle tone. So I'm going to go ahead and add that into my drawing to show that the light is coming from this side. All right, so you can see that I put that dark value at the bottom, the mid-tone right here, and this is the white of the page right here. It's the lightest light. You'll notice that there's a few places here where I have some pencil lines that I might not want. I can use my eraser to erase them out, but I can also do a little trick that will help a lot with that process. So let's do that. You can take a piece of paper and you can put the paper where you would like to protect your drawing, and then you can erase. So I'm going to protect this area right here with a piece of paper, and then I'm going to erase those little marks that I didn't want. And I can do the same over here. Just protect that area that I already added my value, and then I can erase here. Now the other thing that you can do as you're working is use this paper to give yourself a line here. So maybe you wanted to, draw right up to the edge here, but you're worried about getting in that space. So you can do that by just protecting that space while you're drawing, like that. And you can use your pencil to add your value in, and then that protects that other space, like that. All right, so now we have a value assigned to each side here, and that helps us to see that as a more three-dimensional object. You would do the same thing over here, but consider the fact that your lighting source is coming from this direction, making this bright. So if your light source is coming from this direction, you might notice that if it's this way and this is bright, but this one is coming this way, right? So this front face might be brighter. It's actually this side that's bright, but we don't see it. So the darkest side is going to be right here. So if I were to be adding value into there, this here is probably going to be pretty close to this because the brightest bright is going to be on the other side of this block. This is going to be the darkest right here. So I would go ahead and color that in darker. And now if we look at this one down here, same thing, we're going to have to think about where that light is coming from. It's coming from this side. So this front piece is going to be similar to these two. This one is going to be a little darker, right? Let's see if we can hold this kind of so you can see it. And that top, let's see, right here, okay, you can see it's a little bit darker than this front piece. Now the light is a little bit weird because for my camera lighting we can see light coming from this direction also. But in reality, if this light was coming from mostly this direction, right here, that side's going to be the brightest. This is going to match this pretty well. This will be darker, and this will be kind of a mid-tone. Now this one right here is going to have a little bit of shadow from that top one. So I'm going to say, we're going to see this is going to be the darkest here, right here. This is going to be a medium right here, and these two are going to be kind of similar. This is probably going to be just a touch lighter than this one. And then last we have this L. The L is a little bit tricky because it has this shelf right here. But again, this front face is going to be similar. It's going to be a medium tone. The darkest is going to be back here, right? The top and this side, you're going to see the top matching this. This is where that bright light is coming. So that's going to be that bright white of the page. And there's a good example of how that shading would look.